Welcome to another episode of All About Physics. Today's topic is tennis. We'll be discussing how physics is applied in tennis because tennis is all about spins, trajectory and different forces. Another point of discussion is going to be how the game has been changing with modern technology and better equipment. Tennis is a very interesting sport because if you try to break it down, it can be very complicated. When you watch tennis on TV, it is simply two people knocking a ball from one end of the court to the other. There are in fact multiple forces occurring on the ball that players are aware of and try to use to their advantage. To start understanding the physics with tennis, let's start by breaking down the two shots known as the forehand and the backhand. One of the major aspects of physics that is used for ground strokes is topspin. Topspin is very useful in tennis and every current player uses it in some way, and this is for the reason that it affects the trajectory of the ball in an extremely helpful way. What topspin actually does is make the ball drop faster. To create topspin is a fairly easy process. All you need to do is hold your racket on a slight angle and try to make contact with the back of the ball, and then use your wrist to slide over the top. The reason this causes spin is when the ball and racket meet, the motion creates friction that pushes the ball forwards but also upwards to create the topspin. Backspin is the other type of spin often used in tennis and is almost the exact opposite of topspin. The ball hit with backspin bounces backwards, as the name suggests, and this is because when the ball makes contact with the ground, it creates a strong friction, and because the ground has such a large mass, the ball ends up pushing itself backwards or just slowing the rate at which it moves forward. But the trajectory of a ball hit with backspin is what I find most interesting about this type of shot, because when the ball is in the air is rushing over the top and down the back of the ball pushing downwards. And once again, Newton's third law indicates that the reaction of the air pushing downwards will cause the ball to be pushed upwards as equal and opposite reaction. Tennis players have always trained super hard to be able to play as well as they do, and they are continuously trying to get better. But now players can do so many other things to improve their skills even more, and that is because of all the new, better quality equipment. The tennis racket, for instance, has been around for a very long time, but from the 1980s onwards is when they really began to change. They are no longer made from wood that weakens or heavy metals, they now make them out of carbon fibers and graphite. Tennis rackets made from carbon fibers and graphite are a much lighter alternative than previous types of rackets, but it also allows players to do so many other minor adjustments to their game. Players are now able to tighten their strings at a much higher tension and the frame of the racket doesn't weaken. Players like to do this because tightening your strings provides more control of the ball because they move less with each shot. The carbon fiber and graphite rackets are also able to be molded to be more aerodynamic. So with a more aerodynamic racket, players are then able to get more acceleration because there is less wind resistance and are then able to hit the ball with a greater force. The strings players use has also been changed. Tennis rackets used to be strung with natural gut, but this was not very durable and was also expensive. That is why nylon strings or synthetic gut quickly became the most used string. Synthetic gut is very strong and you can get it at different thicknesses for even more durability but for a cheaper price. The reason these strings are actually so popular amongst professionals is that they can be made to specifically suit your play style. Strings can now cater for players who use a lot of spin in their game style by making it easier to hit spin or put more spin on the ball. So players use synthetic gut strings to try and get a small advantage to their game. Because of the way the technical side of tennis has changed, I believe hitting good shots are becoming easier. With new rackets, techniques, spins and strings, players are able to position the ball exactly where they want it almost every time. Because now so many of the top players are hitting such amazing shots, I think that tennis will turn into a game where the fittest and fastest players will be best at, for the reason that everyone will be able to hit good shots, but only the elite athletes can get into position to return them.